Yo, what's up, guys? We're back for another breakdown and predictions video. This week we got Contender Series Week 7. And honestly, I think a lot of these matchups aren't the greatest in terms of talent. I think there's been a lot better weeks on Contender Series, and there's going to be some better ones moving forward. But always is opportunities for money to be made in these matchups. And I think that these fights, it's no different. So hit the like button on the video, put a comment down below. Let's try to get some interaction here. Share the video if you find it informative, show some people. But let's get into it, man. First fight, we got Rafael Tobias. He's taking on Jair de Oliveira, two Brazilian guys. Tobias, 22 years old. He's a shoot box fighter. A lot of experience under his belt already. He's 13-1, 14 fights in less than 4 years. So he's been really active. A lot of his wins have been nothing special, but gotten a lot of cage time, and recently he's been fighting some better guys. He did have one fight in LFA, and that was where he got his loss, so it's another high-profile spot for him here, and it's a chance for him to do over and get the win this time. And for Jair de Oliveira, he's made it to Contender Series via a completely different route than Tobias. He is 7 years older. He's 29, and he's been fighting since 2015, but after his first fight in 2015, he didn't fight until 2022. So over 7 years off, reemerged, and then he's gone 4-0 since then. He hasn't been that active, though, even since 2024 either. He had 2 fights in 2022, 2 in 2023, then 1 fight in May of last year, and this is going to be his first fight since then. So whenever we've seen de Oliveira in the cage since his comeback, though, it's been short and sweet. He's gotten 5 first-round stoppages, hasn't really had to break a sweat, but he's going from fighting a 3-5 opponent to someone who's 13-1. So it's not going to be as easy as it has been for him on Tuesday. And you look at Oliveira, a little bit mysterious. I saw a fight of his where he was fighting in a really small cage, started out the fight with the flying knee, and then ended it with the head kick in under 30 seconds. He was fighting a fat guy who had no business even fighting MMA, so it didn't really prove much outside of Oliveira's athletic. He has a good head kick. He can throw a flying knee. His last fight, he came out with a bladed stance. He was throwing low kicks. He was countering with the lead hook pretty well, but everything was full power. He was even throwing himself off balance sometimes, and due to that, he probably will slow down if he gets extended. He doesn't really fake or feint. He just loads up and tries to use his speed, and it looks as if he wants to pick his shots, doesn't throw a lot of numbers. When fighters pressure him, he likes to shell. He'll look to counter with one shot and then move away. But he does have knockout power, so you have to respect that. And he did get a takedown in his last fight when his opponent pressured him, but his wrestling didn't impress me. He got on top in that fight through one elbow, and I don't know if his opponent verbally tapped or what happened, but it was a really quick and strange stoppage. But de Oliveira, short, stumpy powerhouse. He's going to be dangerous, at least in the early going in fights. And for Rafael Tobias, he's athletic. He hits hard. He has that shoot box style, tight high guard, ready to brawl. Pretty good jab. He'll exchange with good hand speed, but kind of just plods into range. He doesn't fake or feint. He doesn't move his head. So you can pull him into counter shots, and he does drop his hands as well when he's in the pocket. He got knocked out in his LFA fight. I've seen him hurt against guys that didn't really look the greatest. So his striking is a little suspect to me. Really, Tobias wants to put you on the fence. He wants to try to get you to the ground with the trip or body lock. He spends a lot of time in fights cage pushing fighters, wearing them down from there. And he's aggressive on top. He's good at getting into dominant positions. Most of the time when he gets the mount, he can end up finishing the fight. I've seen him lose position a couple times from mount, but he is good at ground and pounding, forcing them to give their back, choking them out. He has a rear naked choke. He has an arm triangle. He has multiple ground and pound finishes. So obviously when he gets it to the ground, he is pretty good. But this fight really is a crapshoot to me. De Oliveira looks decent on the feet. He looks better than Tobias, but he's never fought an opponent with even a pulse I could find. So you don't know how he's going to look with someone throwing strikes back at him. And I think Oliveira is going to have his chances to run Tobias in a big counter hook or head kick, but he looks sloppy in the wrestling and on the ground. He doesn't have a ton of experience. He's only been outside of the first round one time, and that was in his first fight in 2015. If he ends up on his back or faces adversity, I don't have as much faith in him being able to bounce back as I do Tobias. Tobias, he has good experience. I think he can wrestle in this fight. If both guys are looking sloppy on their feet, Tobias has that advantage there. And he just can't run into anything early, and if he does that, he probably wins. So I'm going to pick Tobias. I think his striking is really suspect, but I feel he could probably get this fight to the ground, show his toughness, and get the victory via finish probably, I'll say, in round 2. And next fight we got on the card, we got a little bit higher level of a matchup here between Javier Garcia and Javier Reyes, excuse me. And Javier Reyes, he's determined to remain on this card. I mean, the guy had 2 other opponents that were previously scheduled to fight him, but both pulled out. So insert Justice Torres here. And Reyes, he's grinded since 2014. He has 26 fights, so he would probably go in there and fight Brock Lesnar if he had to. But he's coming off a win in June. He has a lot of solid wins in the LFA and other promotions that are decent. So he's seen it all, and he's ready as you can be for a moment like this. Justice Torres, you could say similar for him. He's a Fury fighter. He's had 15 fights, all with Fury, which is pretty interesting. 12-3 overall. He's a former Fury FC champion. He did lose the belt in January, but he's bounced back with 2 finishes this year. And he just fought August 17th, so he's coming back quickly, taking this fight short notice. This is going to be his 4th fight of the year, so extremely active 2025 for him so far. And this opportunity kind of is just falling into his lap. He's only been a pro since 2021. He's racked up a lot of fights, but he probably wasn't expecting to get to this spot so quickly, so he's going to have to take advantage of it here. And you look at Justice Torres, he has fast hands on the feet. He's a 4-ounce fight club guy, so we just saw Alden Correa come in, get a nice upset. Josh Fan, they got a nice little group of smaller boxer fighters in that gym. And Torres, I would say, is one of the least impressive ones, but he's a little flat-footed. He's square in front of you, but he shoots fast 1-2s. He'll kind of be a little stiff early, but he loosens up as fights go on, and you see him start to cut angles, try to land the check hook and circle off. He'll throw some 1-2s and then mix in kicks at the end of his combinations or nice little hooks and try to kind of extend his striking combinations. So he's decent. He kind of reminds me of like a Michael Aswell on the feet. And Michael Aswell, I believe, also trains at that gym. So you have to use low kicks against a pressure fighter like Torres. Put him on his back foot because he does pull back with his chin in the air, and if you can get him moving backwards, he's not that defensively responsible. But Torres will look to mix up wrestling, take you down. He's pretty strong. And his wrestling, though, I just don't know if it's going to be there for him in this fight against Reyes, who I think is a little bit better in that department. And we've seen Torres taken down in the past, but he's usually fairly good at getting back up, not getting tired, and then finishing wrestlers. And he hasn't really fought a wrestler that has cardio to go with control. So if he does fight someone like that, which Reyes does wrestle hard, it could be a difficult night for him. So Torres just needs to have the wrestling defense on point. But you look at Reyes, the guy's a dog. He has good conditioning. He can win in a multitude of ways. He also tends to start slow because he's not really that technical. He needs to get hit a little bit, let his opponent get some energy out, and just move around, try to work his jab, chip away. But once he feels the power and knows he could take it, he'll turn it up. He'll walk opponents down. He'll take one to give one, make it an ugly brawl. And he'll double up on the jab to find the big right hand. He'll wing punches. So he's thrown some technical strikes, some looping strikes. It's a little hard to read. He'll shoot takedowns, and When he fails on the takedown, you'll land right off the break, so that's good to see too. He'll throw teeps, leg kicks, and he will wrestle as well, although I don't think his wrestling is all that good. He's relentless with it, and he has a lot of finishes in the second and third round. So really how Reyes wins is putting a lot of offense out there, taking the best his opponent has, and then breaking them. And when he feels that he can take your power, he's going to just walk you down and try to work you until he can get you out of there. So it's a good fight, man. I mean, Justice Torres, durable, good jab, fast 1-2s, lead hooks. He could wrestle, but I just feel like, you know, these fighters are similar in a way. They're both well-rounded, but not great anywhere. They both can take a shot. I feel like Reyes could start well, or Torres, could start well countering, but I don't think he has the power to stop Javier Reyes from pressuring him eventually into the fight when it gets going. And I think Reyes is more powerful and dynamic on the feet. I also think that he probably is the slightly better wrestler, and he's fought better competition. So this is going to be a close fight. I think it's going to go the distance, and give me Javier Reyes via decision. And moving it along, we got the next fight on this card with Sofia Montenegro taking on Jiesla Chaves. And with Chaves, she's extremely inexperienced. She's taken a humongous leap up a competition. She has to have one of the worst resumes I've ever seen of a fighter coming into Contender Series. She is 5-0, but she's never beaten an opponent who's won a pro fight. Her last two opponents were 0-2, and she's going to decision with some of these fighters. Like, she went to decision with an 0-4 opponent recently. So obviously her team must feel she's ready, and she's 28. So to be fair, she has to get going, but hasn't tested herself before she's gotten to this position. And Sofia Montenegro, Argentine fighter, she's 6-1, and she's also had kind of a similar path where she's fought a lot of low-level opponents. Her resume is a little stronger than Chavez's, but not much better. And she's slightly younger, Sofia. She trains out of a more established gym. So on paper, she might have some slight edges, but this is the most difficult fight for both fighters of their career. And I was only able to find one fight of Chavez's online. It was her most recent fight, and it did go into the third round, so you can glean some things out of it. She was athletic. It looked like she liked to play the bully, pressure forward, back fighters to the cage, let go with fast offense. She's powerful for a female, and she can make opponents hesitant. She likes to hold her lead hand low, try to bait you in, slide in and out, pull counter, but she hasn't really mastered countering off the back foot the greatest. If you throw numbers at her and push her backwards, she doesn't really throw back. But she'll close the space. She has good elbows if you start to pressure her and kind of give her problems with blitzes. And sometimes she will wrestle. When she's pressured or tired, she's really kind of super inactive, but no one's made her pay for it yet. I think a better fighter will kind of stuff those sloppy shots that she goes for when she starts to fatigue, get on top, and maybe finish her. But cardio for Chaves is not terrible, but she definitely isn't a great cardio fighter overall. And Sofia Montenegro, she's big for the weight class. She also likes to walk girls down, but a bit more planted and upright. And she has fast hands, kind of similar offense to Chaves, but she's a little more hittable, and her chin is suspect. Her last fight, she was doing better at keeping it long. She was going to the body, going to the legs. So her offense is getting cleaner, but she mostly is won by backing fighters up and then wrestling them. She has good back takes. I think that she has a major advantage in that area if she can get it to the ground. So I don't really see either fighter as UFC level. I think they have the potential to be in the UFC. They're athletic, and they look good against low-level opposition, but I just think they have good offense, bad defense type of thing going on. Montenegro, to me, is better at mixing the targets and can get the takedown, probably has the conditioning edge. So you got to give it to her, and I'm going to say Montenegro wins via decision in that fight, in my opinion. Next matchup here, we got Brahyan Zurcher. He's taking on Murtazali Magomedov. Mexico versus Russia battle here, or Mexico versus Kyrgyzstan, excuse me. But Brahyan Zurcher finally getting back in action. He got done dirty by PFL. He's been out for over a year, like Michelle Montague as well, who's going to be fighting on a UFC card. There's a lot of these PFL fighters that are coming over now after having some issues, but Zurcher, he's been fighting for a decade. He had his first amateur fight in 2015, went 3-3 as an amateur. He didn't fight for almost 2 years after he lost his last amateur fight, but went pro in 2021, and it's been smooth sailing since. He's only had to win 2 fights before he got invited on PFL Challenger Series as a pro, and he won his first PFL fight as an underdog. Since then, he's kind of been a guy that PFL has built up. He's gone 5-0 in the PFL overall, and he had a couple marquee fights booked. He was going to fight James Gallagher. He was going to fight Marcelo Alves, who did really good in the tournament. I believe he won their tournament, but neither of those fights materialized, and now he's not with the promotion. So he hasn't fought since June of 2024, but he's 9-0, and this is his chance to get back into a big circuit and the biggest circuit, which is the UFC. And for Murtazali Magomedov, unbeaten Kyrgyzstan fighter. He's currently on a 16-fight winning streak dating back to his amateur career. And he hasn't been fighting for that long. He took his first amateur fight in 2021, but went 7-0 quickly as an amateur, and now he's 9-0 as a pro. And he's the reigning and defending Octagon featherweight champion, beaten some of the best competition in the Kyrgyzstan scene, but to be honest, he hasn't fought the greatest opposition to me. Neither has Zurcher, but Magomedov has a 100% finish rate, and his style is perfect for Contender Series. He's someone that goes out there and gets the business done before the decision has to be read. He's also competing for the first time this year. He hasn't fought since December, so a little bit of a layoff for both guys. For Magomedov style-wise, he is a pressure fighter on the feet. He cuts the cage off. He feints well. He does a good job keeping his hands up. He moves his head. He has good 1-2s, 1-1-2s. He throws nice uppercuts. His knees are dangerous, so good strikes up the middle. And I think chopping his legs are an avenue to go for opponents against him. He's very heavy on his lead leg. Also, putting him on his back foot. Magomedov got dropped hard in his last fight early when he was put on the back foot. So when Magomedov can go forward, have a pretty fight, throw 1-2s, kind of lull you, and then pull you into a strike up the middle and knock you out, he's dangerous on the feet. But if you could throw leg kicks, kind of mix your targets, back him up, be varied, you could land on him, you could hurt him. But Magomedov's never been finished or even lost a fight, so obviously he is a durable guy. And he's strong, he can wrestle, good scrambler. He's had a fight recently where he did get taken down with a body lock against the cage multiple times. He got his back taken, but he was able to reverse, get on top. His wrestling defense is a little suspect, but he has good submissions, even off his back. He'll reverse, he'll throw up triangles, guillotines, and I believe in his last fight, he hit a triangle off his back in a scramble. So that was, you just have to be careful grappling with him. Even when you're on top, you can't fall asleep. He also throw nice elbows, so that's dangerous even when he's on his back or on top. But his conditioning and composure are really good, Magomedov. And Magomedov's last fight, he fought a guy who was outstriking him, so he took him down, then knocked him out. He's not the best fighter of all time. He has flaws, but he definitely has multiple ways to win, and he is someone that if you have a deficiency, he'll sniff it out, he'll exploit that, and then he could take you out. But Brahyan Zurcher, he throws really good kicks to all parts of the body on the feet. He has a good check hook. He has fast hands, good low kicks, good teeps, and he'll even throw nice high kicks. I think that he honestly is very technical. He has nice combinations with his hands. He'll tight, accurate. He'll go to the body, but he's just not super athletic. He has flashed some big power, though, recently. He has 4 knockouts in a row, and he needs to pressure Magomedov and try to force bad wrestling shots out of him or just try to touch the chin, because wrestling for Zurcher is on point. He has good wrestling offense and defense. I think it's going to be difficult for Magomedov to take him down and control him, and Zurcher could double leg Magomedov. He could potentially take him down against the cage. And I think he could also stay on the feet and shut down Magomedov's wrestling. So I think he could win in multiple ways. Zurcher just can't brawl. He has to be wary of the knees. He has to be wary of being caught in a submission in a scramble if he does go the wrestling route. But Zurcher has serious power in both hands. 4 knockouts in a row. He's one-shot knocked out multiple opponents. And I think his stand-up is better and his wrestling is better. He just has to avoid getting caught with a knockout shot or in a submission. And if he can do those two things, I think that he could win probably second or third round KO TKO, give the first loss to Magomedov. And I'm going to go with Brahyan Zurcher there for the win. And finally, we got the main events. We got Dani Barbir. He's going to be taking on Mantas Kondratavicius, I believe. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But Dani Barbir, he's undefeated. He's Croatian fighter, but he trains out of, I believe, somewhere else. I can't remember, but I wrote it down now. I can't remember where it was, but my bad. But I believe he trains at a different gym, but he does fight out of Croatia. And his first 5 fights were versus nobodies, and 3 of the 5 fighters that he fought don't even have a Tapology page. But he won the FNC middleweight title in his 5th pro fight and has been fighting good competition since then, or at least decent. He fought a 2-0 guy who's now 7-3, fought a 6-4 guy who gave him hell, and then he fought a 10-7 fighter. So he's slowly leveling up, and he was getting ready to fight Piotr Kraus in May, or Piotr Struce, who's a good fighter, kind of old and washed up, so it wouldn't have been a great win at this point, but he had to pull out, and he hasn't fought since last November, so hopefully he is at his optimal for this one. But yeah, man, he's taking on Mantas Kondratavicius, who's a fun fighter to watch. He's 100% finish rate. He's still young. He's like 25, 26. Been fighting for a long time. He started off as a kickboxer, and he has kickboxing matches that date back to 2014. 2018 was his first amateur MMA fight. He's had 6 amateur fights between 2018 and 2021. Went pro, and he's gone 7-1 so far. He was 5-0. He had a big upset victory over Ali Joseph as well, but he took his loss to Aries FC middleweight champion Virgil Algan in 2023, and since then he's bounced back with 2 first-round stoppages and gotten his mojo back coming into this fight. But you look at Dani Barbir for his style, he looks super polished. His level of competition makes it a little difficult to decipher how good he is, but he's definitely technical. He's super powerful, cuts the cage off well. He has good in and out movement. He'll switch stances really seamlessly, good vision. He does kind of pull back to avoid punches, but really fast upper body movement. He's slick with it, and he likes to pressure guys, make them uncomfortable, either catch them as they try to close the void with a big 1-2 or straight right hand, or open them up with jabs, kicks, and then catch them as they're kind of backed up and just standing there against the fence. He's good at attacking the body to open up the head later in the fight as well. And in order to beat Barbir on the feet, you're going to have to be able to either somehow put Barbir on the back foot, which is hard, or skirt around and time a big power shot over the top. Both are dangerous because Barbir is good at pull countering with the power, but playing tit for tat with Barbir is not a smart strategy. He's going to be collecting reads, data the whole time, and when he connects, he can normally finish you. In the pocket, he's very dangerous, but he leaves opening to be countered, so you don't want to exchange with him in long exchanges, but if you could tag him and then get out, eventually maybe you could knock him out. He went to war in a fight he had on a regional scene fight. He proved his mettle there, but he has to improve his defense because he just gets hit with a lot of clean shots. And his conditioning was suspect in that fight also. But he did dig deep and got a stoppage in the latter half of the second, so that was good to see. And he will mix in takedowns. He doesn't really set them up the greatest, but he has an explosive shot. He'll come up into the body lock and dump guys. And if you could push fighters to the cage, you can usually get them on their back. He had some trouble in the grappling wrestling realm with a recent opponent of his where he got taken down in the second round, and he looked dead to rights at certain points. I mean, he was able to survive some deep submission attempts. He got mounted and rained on, but he was able to stay calm, and then he turned in and exploded when he got in top position, ended the fight with some savage elbows. So he has killer instinct. He has a good ability to survive, and he has big power on the feet. If he gets on top, he has good ground and pounds. But grappling, a little suspect. Wrestling, defense, maybe not the greatest. And then open, hittable, and also his cardio might be a bit of a question mark. When you look at Mantas, he just makes fights car crashes. He's long and lanky for the weight, but doesn't use it that much. He'll throw the jab, some lead hooks. He'll go to the body, but he mainly likes to just close the distance and throw elbows and clinch, and he'll hit nice body lock takedowns. He's good with the knees too. He'll land strikes in the clinch and off the breaks, and he's just good at just staying very active and wild. And he will stay double guarded, and his arms are long, so he can cover the body pretty good too. He'll also just absorb damage, stay calm, and wait to find his own shots. His one loss, he was able to defend takedowns in the early going, but got mounted, back mounted late in the first. Second round, he got taken down and finished. So I do think Barbir, if he's smart, is going to try to put Kondratavicius on his back early in the first, and he could be successful doing it. And Kondratavicius has to stay composed, keep getting back up, try to catch Barbir as he's coming in and take him out. And Kondratavicius sends it, though. He makes fights crazy. His cardio, definitely a suspect. He slows down pretty majorly. Most of his wins are first-round wins. So if this fight goes into the second, late second, third, it's going to get really sloppy, I think. But I feel Barbir looks more technical and like the better prospect, but Mantas is more well-rounded. He has a ton of experience in striking. He's good at sneaking in shots. He's pretty accurate and powerful. He's a dog, too, so if it becomes a bout of attrition, I think both these guys are able to dig deep. And I have a hard time getting a read on this fight. This is the hardest one for me to predict, so if you're confident on this one, tell me why in the comments. But if Mantas can't handle the power, it could look like easy work for Barbir. And I'm gonna go with Barbir's second round knockout because I think that he's a little more well-rounded. Even if the fight gets tough for him, I think he can get on top and finish. I trust his cardio a little more. And Mantas, even though he has the better wrestling, I think he makes mistakes and loses position on the ground. And if he gives up top position, he could end up paying for that with a finish loss. And then on the feet, if both guys are sloppy and tired, I think Dani will be a little more technical and be able to maybe find the power shot that hurts Mantas. So slightly leaning towards Barbir in the main event, but I would say that's one of my lesser confident picks on the card. For my most confident pick on this card, personally, I guess I would say Rafael Tobias, but I think his line is way too wide at minus 415. Looking at the prices, I think Montenegro, if she moves back to like minus 170-ish, I think she's playable. Zurcher, he was plus 165. Now he's minus 150. So kind of missed the boat on the Zurcher play if you didn't get it. But maybe 2-3 Zurcher if you like him. And Barbir Mantas fight doesn't go to decision. I don't see that going the full distance at all. Maybe under 1.5 rounds at minus 180 could be a good look there. For Reyes, minus 180, I think that's pretty accurate. Maybe target the over at minus 155. I was thinking maybe Montenegro via sub, Chaves KO. So maybe fight doesn't go the distance there, but kind of would be value plays at anything with that fight. So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hit the like button, like I said at the start of the video. And I'm going to be back soon breaking down another fight card. So subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And peace out, guys.